Welcome to the Millspouse Coffee House Podcast. Your podcast baristas Leslie and Brittany have a latte on their minds.
My kid gets in the dishwasher, that's the first thing she grabs is the knife. To use all the help. All the help. Am I the only one that's weirded out by that situation? Yeah. I'm not gonna ask. You don't have to get dressed. You can do online hungover, y'all. That's true. Yeah. That's funny.
Here are your hosts, Leslie and Brittany.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Millspouse Coffee House Podcast. Hey everyone, it's our Halloween edition. Woo-hoo! So if you are watching this on YouTube, you can see that Brittany and I are somewhat dressed up, looking awesome. So, but if you're on the podcast, just go on YouTube or subscribe to our channel. You are missing out because we look kind of ridiculous. I moved into my house. We PCS like 4 days ago. So my house is a war zone, guys. So she found a spider and stuck it on her head. A spider with 9 legs. It has 9. One side has 5. It's like pipe cleaners, and it has googly eyes. It's actually pretty cute. But it is kind of somebody didn't count. I thought it was you. Yeah, Brittany's like, oh, did you make that? Putting your 5 legs on one side. No, I bought it from Walmart. Well, today is a very special podcast episode because it is our Halloween edition. This is coming out, I think, the Friday before Halloween. It's coming out the Friday before Halloween. Yes. So we have a very special guest with us today. We have Kelly with The Paranormal Housewife, and she has a really cool blog and shares spooky stories. And if you guys know anything about me, like I love ghost stories and I have tons of experiences and all that kind of stuff. So this is totally up my alley, Kelly. We are so glad you're here. And would you just share with our audience who you are and what your blog is about and maybe how you got started writing a blog? I'm so excited to hear your story.
Well, I really appreciate y'all letting me be a part of this.
Absolutely.
As y'all said, my name is Kelly. Currently, we're stationed in Illinois. My husband is a Marine recruiter out here. And I kind of got started with the whole paranormal thing from my childhood. It's just how I was raised. I'm half Cherokee, so we were raised with spirits around us. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I always had unusual experiences according to my classmates, and they thought I was weird. Apologize. I have a new puppy right beside me.
Oh, yeah, so cute. He's so fluffy.
Yeah.
Y'all need to watch YouTube on this one. Yeah, he's so cute. Halloween.
So after I got done with school, I wanted to share with others what I experienced. And so I found Duke University has a portion of it called the Rhine Research Center, and they deal with all things paranormal, ESP, all sorts of different things, like trying to scientifically prove these things. And
that's amazing. How did I not know about this when I was in college? We would have been there. Yeah, I would have been there.
Well, it's still there if y'all want to go check it out.
Awesome.
But I was privileged enough to be able to join with their paranormal team, and they taught me how to actually do scientific investigations. And so I was able to actually help prove that what I was experiencing was legitimate things. And once I was with them for a few years, I realized with the rise of ghost hunters and all those other TV shows, people needed to know how to do these investigations correctly because they were just showing what they were doing, or they were just copying what they were doing on TV. Mm-hmm. And so I started training paranormal teams across North Carolina, and that's actually how I ended up meeting my husband.
I'm so fascinated right now. I know. Can we have a military spouse paranormal group? I would love that. Would be so fun. We should.
I would
should
love
have
that.
a get together and do a paranormal investigation. That would be so fun. I'll do that.
Okay, yeah.
But I think we'd have to schedule that for next year. But I mean, that would be so fun. It'd be fun. But I feel like a Facebook group would be awesome. Like just people who are interested in it. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. Somebody email us and remind us. Yeah, if anybody else is interested, shoot us a message because maybe this is something that we could do. This would be really cool. Yeah, it would. Do a meetup. So you, Kelly, have this blog that you've been working on, and you also, I think, have a haunted doll that you
Yes.
do.
This is Elizabeth. Uh, she joined our family last year. And
Okay.
she was one of those things I wanted to test eBay to see if it was
Yeah.
legitimately a haunted doll, and she actually appears to be legit. She's supposed to bring. Please don't eat her. My dog is trying to eat her. She's supposed to bring happiness and whatever you need to you. And every single time my husband has brought her to the recruiting office, he does it when they're not getting appointments, people aren't showing up, they're desperate for contracts, and all of a sudden everything starts clicking. People that were supposed to show up a few days ago just randomly walk into the office. People are calling them, asking for information, and legitimately showing up, and it's just like everything is smooth.
That's amazing.
Wow,
so she's a good luck doll then.
Yes, she is.
She's not like what's his name? Is it Harold in the Keys? I think he's
Robert.
Robert. That's who it is.
I actually got to meet Robert last week.
Oh, you did? Did you ask
Yes.
permission to take his photo? Because you have to ask permission.
I did ask for permission, and me and my sister were fangirling the whole time and just praising him, and just because we grew up learning about him. My dad used to play us documentaries about him, and we happened to be on a cruise, walked into a gift shop, and realized, oh my God, Robert is here.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be celebrating my mom's birthday, but we hijacked it and went to the museum to go see him.
If you guys don't know the story of this doll, it's really creepy. It's Robert, I don't know where I came up with Harold. There's probably another doll out there named Harold.
I think a movie just came out called The Doll a few years ago, and I think the doll in that one was called Harold.
Okay, well, there you go. I didn't make that one up, but
That's fine.
but you have to Google it. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting story. Leslie, have you heard about him?
No.
Yeah,
No.
it's crazy.
So it's another haunted doll?
Yeah, but he's a bad guy. He's a bad
Okay.
doll.
Bad things happen if you don't show him respect.
Yes.
The nanny made it for this child, and the child just grew really close to him. It was made out of his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And things would happen, like the bathtub in the attic would overflow, and he'd be like, Robert did it. Or the window would break in a room, and he'd be like, Robert did it. And like that continued on until he became an adult and actually locked him away in the attic. And after he did that, he was actually able to like start dating and get married. And then somebody moved into the house after them, found the doll, and weird stuff started happening again. So they donated him to a museum, and now the museum is saying things are happening.
Yeah, he's been behind glass for
Interesting.
years, I think. So, but he dates back. Really, is that the really old one? I think there are a couple of them. There's one that's really old.
He looks ancient, but it's actually fairly recent.
Oh, really?
The gentleman just passed away, or they just a few years ago.
So so the kid's nanny made this doll and like cursed it basically?
Yes. From what our Uber driver was telling us was
Legitimate source.
yeah. He was saying that back in those times, in order to, I don't know, the father slept with the nanny, and then she got pregnant. They killed the child so that way she would become the wet nurse for their child.
Oh.
And so as revenge, she made this doll.
Got it.
Dang, that is serious.
Yeah,
So
she put
she was like, if I can't have my kid, you're going down too.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I didn't realize that was the whole story. That is
So yeah, so she had
Crazy.
lots of like bad energy making that doll.
Yes.
Okay.
wow.
I see it. It's so crazy. Lula May also really, speaking of kids, not like dying kids, but Lula May really likes ghosts too. And just like
She does.
she like
Both Leslie and I have 4-year-old girls, and so Lula May is her daughter. My daughter Genevieve, she kind of knows what ghosts are, and she'll say ghost. She'll say, "Oh, it's a ghost," but I don't think she really understands 100% what it is. But
yeah. I'd like love to do stuff with her. What I'm afraid of is like, and you could probably tell me if this is a real thing or not, Kelly. I'm afraid of like things catching on to her because she's so little and like available You know what I'm saying? Like open to those things.
Like poltergeist, where they want to take
Sort
them.
of.
Yeah.
Is that real?
To be honest, if you do it similar to the way that my parents did it and just taught us to always treat them with respect, if something happens or you see something, treat them like a human, greet them, don't be negative, don't be scared, and show them respect, then we never had anything negative ever attached to us, even when we were too little to understand what we were doing.
Right.
And even now when I investigate and I go into places where people are like, oh, it's demonic, this is negative energy, and I go in there, nothing bad has ever happened to me. And
I've actually read that there aren't really demonic. It's mostly just the way that they're reacting to the person who's investigating or whatever. Like there may be demonic things going on, but for the most part, I think it's like the way that they're reacting to being provoked or whatever that might be.
Right. And all the years that I've done this, I've never truly come across anything demonic. I've just come across misunderstood spirits.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you just said that better than what I was just trying to say. Yes.
Yeah, that is,
Thank you for summing that up.
Right? No, that makes sense. And I feel like just like people that are like still here are the same way. Like, you know, when people misunderstood. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when they're like, oh, that guy's crazy. So
Well,
people are like weird to them.
If you go into somebody's house randomly and you start cussing at them, be like, show yourself and whatnot, what do you think the homeowner's going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what spirits are basically doing when all these people trying to copy what they see on TV.
Okay. So be nice is the moral of the story.
Yes.
That's so cool. So how many, I guess, like how many, so do you go into houses sort of like ghost hunters? Like, do you do that whole thing?
Yes, I haven't done it recently just because we're still settling into Illinois and stuff, but in North Carolina I did that quite often. And I would talk with the family, find out what's going on. I would do investigations usually over a couple of days and try and figure out if it was something truly paranormal or if it was something normal that they were misinterpreting.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you've seen in Ghost Hunters, a lot of times it can be pipes, it can be air conditioning,
Right.
it could be the house settling.
Also really disappointing when that happens. Like there's an explanation. I wanted it to be a
There is,
ghost.
but it's also nice for the homeowners to be like, okay, this is what's going on. We're not being possessed.
Right.
Right. Also great things.
Yeah.
But it's so cool.
Well, do you have a favorite like tool that you use when you do go on an investigation?
I do. I don't have it with me right now because a friend of mine is actually borrowing it right now, but it's called an obelisk. And
Yep.
it's pre-programmed with words and they can manipulate it to speak through it. And there's also a mode where it's phonetic, but I can never understand.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was a different mode that you could use.
Yeah, they have a few different ones. They even have like reverse dictionary, reverse phonetic, and then just a static one.
Interesting.
That's my absolute favorite to use.
Yeah, I would think that would be pretty interesting to use. I am a little bit of a chicken because I do have experiences and I know that I can't like see spirits, but I can know when there's one standing there and I can describe to you who it is, what it's doing, all of that kind of good stuff. But I think because I have that, I don't necessarily like, I'm like, let's go in this haunted building so I can look at scary things, you know, like.
Right.
So I'm like my mom all the time is like, let's go stay in that hotel in Savannah that, you know, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I'm not putting myself in that position. Are you crazy? You're going to mess with me for sure. No.
Me, on the other hand, I'm booking on.
Right. You're like, yes, let me stay in that scary haunted room and let somebody mess with me while I'm sleeping.
Yep.
So
I'm down. I'm just not that sensitive or
you're not.
Something in my life has blocked that out. Yeah.
Well, but at least you're open to it, though, and you're not like, oh, it's not real, you know, because there are people who are like, oh, it's not real. Like my husband, he's like, oh, it's not real.
Right.
Tell him to come spend a few days at my house.
I know. Maybe I should. Yeah, you have experiences at your house that you're living in now, right?
Yes, we have, Al is attached to a ring that I have, and he travels around with us. We also have a haunted lamp named Rampu. That's Japanese for lamp.
That's funny.
And he'll turn himself on and off. He's cost us a few pet sitters in the past.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, no, I would need a warning on that one, right? Watch your dog.
And then we have something in the basement. The name is a joke. We call it Basement Demon
Okay.
because that goes back to my cat's friend back when we were stationed in Japan, because she used to go play with something, and we said it was one of the toilet demons from Japan, the kappa.
Right. Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, well, since she's made friends with something in the basement, that's now the basement demon.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I've actually heard it before. My cats like to go down there and play for some stupid reason. And I went down there one day to try and get them, and I was going down there, I was calling their names, I was going, which is for some reason or how I call them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing on the stairs because I hate the basement, and I do that noise, and then a few seconds later, right in my ear, I hear,
Oh.
like, thanks, no thanks, going back upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't like my basement. We did recruiting duty in Iowa, so
Oh, wow.
we were up there and we lived in this farmhouse that was over 100 years old. Like it was really, really old.
Oh yeah,
There was somebody in it. I would see like this guy in the window often. Like nothing ever happened, and things would like fall off I had this big like glass ball that would have never moved on its own because it's really heavy. That got knocked over a lot.
Oh, wow.
And but like nothing, like I said, nothing ever bad happened. But I didn't like the basement either. But whoever this guy was just like hanging out, doing ghost stuff.
Doing ghost stuff.
With shadows on the wall.
Doing ghost stuff. Well,
yeah,
what
I
did
would
he
always
do all
see
day
him.
long, I wonder?
I would see him, like I would pull up to the house and I would see him in the window. Like you could see this man. And at first it was like, I thought there was a person in the house, and I called Zach. And so my neighbor came down and went in the house first. And nothing. And then I realized that I started seeing it over and over and over. But yeah, just doing.
You're like, oh yeah, it's just the guy hanging out.
Did you ever do research into it and find out any
No.
history?
I didn't. I should have done it. Because when we moved in, I was taking pictures too, and I had orbs in literally 90% of my pictures that I took, and didn't think anything of it at the time until I started seeing him. And I was like, listen, you're probably also in the pictures. Photobombing.
Photobombing.
Mm-hmm.
The photobombing ghost.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, maybe the camera's dirty, which was stupid. I was just trying to like rationalize it because it was in different spots and different sizes and different places. But my husband is one that doesn't believe in. Well, he kind of does, but he was like, no, Leslie, that's not real. Yeah. So. But he was cool. I mean, he didn't do anything.
No.
But the house was super old, so who knows?
Hey there, fellow military spouse Esther Inman here, and I am so excited to be sponsoring the MilSpouse Coffee House podcast. While my husband was an active duty Marine, I figured out real quick that a traditional corporate job was not going to work with deployments happening at the drop of a hat and this PCS lifestyle. I needed a career that could move with me, and as a mom, something that allowed me the flexibility of not being chained to a desk all day. I started working online as a virtual assistant and have since helped almost 1,000 women work online as VAs too. I want to extend the invitation to you to join the Work From Anywhere, Military Life Takes You revolution happening right now. I have so many goodies for you to help you kick off your online career, but start with my free class at 90dayva.com. It has a workbook and legit online job resources. No degree or experience needed. Check it out at 90dayva.com. See you in class.
So Kelly, do you have any fun stories? We only have honestly a couple minutes left. We could probably extend this one, I think, for
We should extend it.
Yeah, for a couple
If you're
more
down,
minutes.
if you have time.
But do you have any stories or anything that would be really neat to share with the audience for this spooky special, Halloween special?
Well, two of my favorite things that have ever happened on investigations. One was, it involves Al. He joins us on investigations, and this was before I realized who he was and that he was attached to me. I had gone to Virginia to do an investigation, and my team was all sitting around the table, getting ready, getting the cameras ready and stuff. Sorry. we were getting everything ready, and all of a sudden the team member across from me just snaps up the camera and aims it at me, and I'm like, what's going on? And I feel movement on my hair, and he was like, don't move. And I'm like, okay. Well, it turns out he started filming me with my headband was coming up off my head and sliding forward to sit like a crown.
Wow.
Bright room with everyone around seeing it.
Do you
That's
have
crazy.
this footage that we can watch?
Unfortunately, since I'm not with that team anymore, they're not allowing me to have any of the footage from previous
dang.
investigations.
Dang
know.
it. Subpoena them. Maybe we
really
can write a
want
really
to.
nice letter.
Oh, nuts.
But that is really cool. All right,
Yeah.
what's the other one?
The other one, this happened about 2 years ago. Me and a friend of mine were in Japan, like 3 a.m., and we're walking around a park because she wanted to do ghost hunting. And this one, you can actually go to my blog and see the video clips from it.
Okay.
We were using the Ovilus. She can never understand the Ovilus, so I'm repeating it back to her. And all of a sudden, it dawns on me, it's my dad coming through.
Oh my gosh.
The Ovilus had never used the word Jackie before, which was a family nickname for my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it says it twice. And then it also says daughter and a few other things. And you can see me in the video realizing it's my dad. Well, I start talking to my dad. I cut the video, and I'm actually able to FaceTime my sister while it's still talking. She's back in the States, and she could actually talk to my dad through the Ovilus.
How amazing. I just got chills.
I
How
know, me too.
amazing that is.
It was incredible.
So what's he doing in Japan? Just hanging out with you?
He would come and visit. We had another video that's on my blog as well that shows a music box that he turned on. Just it was right after my mom had come and visited us in Japan, and he was just coming to say hi. And if you go to the video, it shows us like we're trying to figure out. I didn't even know this jewelry box was a music box.
Oh, wow.
We're trying to open everything. We're opening and shutting the doors, trying to figure out what triggers it. And it doesn't stop playing the music for like 5 minutes until we say, how do we make this stop? And then you just hear click, and it stops.
Wow.
That's so cool.
And so the only thing we can figure out is that was my dad coming to say, hey, I'm okay. Because this was like maybe 6 months after he had passed.
Oh, are you able to communicate with him often? Does he come through a lot, or just those only a couple of times?
I had an incident a few weeks ago that I know was him. I was getting ready to go to a friend of mine's house, and me and my husband the week before had cleaned out my car because we thought we were going to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was putting something in one of the seats, the little packs behind it, and I realized there was something back there. I pull out my Bible that my dad gave me in high school. That Bible is supposed to be on a bookcase in the dining room.
Wow.
My husband never touched it. I don't know how it ended up in my car. And like I said, we had completely cleaned it out, and it just appeared.
That's crazy.
So, and it was signed by him.
That's nice.
On the cover. So I was
That's
just like,
great.
I love little things like that.
A friend of mine's mom leaves her dimes everywhere. Everywhere.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I've witnessed it too, where we'll literally look at something and then I think we were at staying in a hotel for like a girls' night or something like that, and on her bed, I mean, we looked over and there's a dime. She's like, oh yeah, it's just my mom. Like my mom leaves me dimes all the time. It's really cool. Yeah, really cool. So all of those neat little signs are really comforting. So
yeah, they are. My so like my sister died last year, and we like when we would always talk, we're like, when we become ghosts, we're gonna haunt each other and be like, and like play jokes. And that's literally what happens all the time. Like when things go wrong, I'm just like she's literally like laughing at us, trying to like she makes things not work to frustrate everyone.
Yeah.
And it's really funny.
She's like, I'm that ghost now that we talked about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous. Like but yeah, that's just like kind of, I think that's her thing.
That's kind of cool that she's around doing that though. I like that.
that is awesome.
Because Lula kind of knows when she's around too.
Oh, she does?
So yeah. Because she'll be like, Aunt Shauna this, Aunt Shauna that, Aunt Shauna. And
Oh,
I'm like,
she's
what?
seeing her then for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's been over a year now, and she was 3, so like they didn't see each other that often
Yeah.
anyway. So for her to be that knowledgeable of her, I think there's no other
Yeah.
reason. So
She's communicating with her. That's cool. That's really cool.
yeah, I wish I could. You guys, I wish I could do this. Can you like teach yourself to be a medium or anything like that? Is that a thing?
I don't know about mediums, but I do know that if you let down your walls and like your guard and stuff, you can definitely start experiencing more of the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider myself as sensitive or anything. It's just I consider myself open to what's around me.
Meditation will help with that. I've been working a lot on meditation, and oh my gosh, let me just tell you. I mean, I've been told recently that by several different people that I was a psychic in a past life, and so I'm really exploring that a little bit, and just kind of the meditation part has been like mind blowing on some of this stuff that I mean,
Awesome.
I like get out of meditation and I've been like weeping. It's insane.
Wow.
So you need to just see if you can tap into it, because I think that we all have that third eye that everybody talks about. I think that we just stop using it because we don't. Kids are usually really open to
and kids are just shut down by the real world.
Right. So that may be why we don't really grow up with constant access to that third eye. But you should try, because I know that you're working on meditation too, Leslie. Maybe that's something you need to, like, if you just Google connecting with like spirit guides, there's several free meditations that you can do on YouTube. Really, it's really cool.
YouTube is great for everything.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
We fixed our pool pump via YouTube.
That's impressive.
Become a spirit guide and fix my pool.
Yeah. You can connect with your spirit guides, read tarot, all those
Oh
things.
my gosh, that's so funny. Oh,
So
that's so
Kelly,
awesome.
if anybody wants to maybe do an investigation like their own, do you have any advice for them? Like, don't do it, or do you have any resources for them? Anything that people should know if they want to do their own paranormal investigation?
Basically, do not copy what you see on TV. Just go in, be respectful. If it's not your location, make sure you have permission first.
Yeah.
Not only from the humans, but ask for permission before you enter in. Be like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. Is it okay if I come in? And if things start going bad, then just apologize, leave. But
don't hang around for it.
Yes.
Because is that like essentially a no? Like you cannot come in?
Yes.
If you hear anything that says like get out, that means you need to get out.
Door slam and things like that. They probably don't want you coming.
Right. Right. That would be a clue to leave.
Yes. And I've had that happen before. So.
And you're like, okay, I'm listening, out of here.
Yeah. I would go back later and I'd bring like hostess presents to them to try and appease them a little bit, and that seemed to help. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Usually if I find out if it's an old guy, I take alcohol, cigarettes, things like that. If it's supposed to be a woman, I take flowers or something of that nature. Children, candy, dolls.
Children. Bring me your children, like Hocus Pocus.
That's hilarious. That's so interesting that they react to that. Like
they do. I mean, some of them still think they're living, so they don't understand what's going on. And so if you treat them like they are still living, they're a little bit more willing to work with you.
That's so cool. That's a really good tip, I think.
I want to go find something haunted now. Try it out.
I'm sure you can find something.
There's got to be something here.
I'm sure.
But I think that my house is good. So.
I just got the notification that we have 10 minutes left on our recording here. So before it like shuts off on us. But I would love to share, Kelly, your blog and all of your social media links and all of that with our audience so they know where to find you. Okay. Can you share that with them, where they can find you?
The blog itself is paranormalhousewife.com. And on Instagram, it's at Paranormal Housewife. Facebook is also Paranormal Housewife. The only one that's different is Twitter. It's Paranormal HW.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitter's limiting.
Yes, unfortunately. And if you want to contact me, my email is Kelly, Kelly, at paranormalhousewife.com.
That's so awesome.
Do you
And-
travel? Oh my gosh. You guys, are you kidding? You hear that?
Do you
hear
need
my
me to
alarm
travel to
going
you?
off?
yeah, right. She needs your services right now, Kelly.
Yeah, telling you. Oh
What
my!
was
I have
that?
no. It was the house alarm that we've never used. I don't know. Maybe
Is your
Zach's
painter?
messing with it.
Your painter's probably still there.
Yeah, he probably.
Okay. Not a ghost.
But that was really funny.
False alarm.
Do you travel? Like, if
I
somebody's
do.
willing to fly you out, do you do that?
Yeah, I will definitely travel. Whether they need me to do an investigation or train their team or train them, I'm willing to travel.
Oh,
So cool. Brittany, I see your wheels.
yeah.
I see
We
them.
need to do something. This is so cool, and I'll be the one that maybe or maybe not goes in. I'll just no. I'm scared.
Hey, if you're serious about wanting to do like a meetup or something, I know several different locations that we're able to basically rent out for an evening and investigate.
We
So-
might have to do that. If there are other people that are interested in doing something like this, and maybe we can meet in kind of a central spot,
Mhm.
because I'm about to move to Washington State. I know Leslie's in Florida, and Kelly, you're in Illinois, so we're going to all spread out. But, I mean, that doesn't mean that we couldn't make something like this happen. I would love to see if maybe there are some other listeners who may be interested in doing something like this, and maybe we can put it together. Maybe not for 2020, but maybe, 2021, maybe in the next year or two, we could do
Well, it could be like a retreat. We could do like
Yeah.
a retreat and then learn. Kelly
Yeah.
could basically teach a group of us. That would be fun because we had that event plan that fell through last minute, so we could just do that instead.
Yes. Let's
And
book it.
I have extra equipment for people who want to try it out.
Oh, that's so
Yes.
cool. And, it doesn't have to be around Halloween either. Maybe
Right.
we could try to do this.
Someplace warm.
Where it's warm. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Well, let's keep talking about this. Guys, listeners, if you're interested in joining us, shoot us an email. You can shoot us an email at hello@millspousecoffeehouse.com or Kelly as well. And just let us know that you are interested, and we'll see what we can put together. This could be
Yeah.
really fun.
That could be really. Yeah, I would be down.
Oh, this would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool. Well, thank you, Kelly. I'm so fascinated about what you do.
I know.
So cool.
So you do investigations and you do training. Is there any other services that you offer?
I also do house cleansings as well, and I do tarot reading.
That's right, tarot. You do tarot reading. Do you do? Can people contact you for the tarot readings
Yes.
for distance? Okay, and so they just need to email you to set that up and order a reading there. Great. Yeah. You
Cool.
should. Like,
You should. Right. I'll do it when my house is painted. And I don't have haunted curtains in the back.
Hey, I like your haunted curtains.
Thank you. Thank you. I might have to keep them or something. No, they're going. They're going. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Kelly. This was awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Halloween,
you so much
everyone.
for this.
Yeah, happy Halloween to everybody. All right, well, that's it. We have just finished another episode of Millspouse Coffee House. We will be back in 2 weeks. And thanks for listening. And that's it.
See ya in November. All right.